It's January 25th, 2015, and we want to know, does even Batman have the fortitude to keep up with a resurrected, super-powered 10-year-old?
After going to RomaCon, will Supergirl make her way to Romcom Con, Chaka Con Con, and Butter Pecan Con?
All this and more is coming up next. It's episode 100 of DCR starting now.
This day, we rescue a world from mysticism and tyranny, and usher in a future brighter than anything we can imagine.
Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's
Distress Citizens Radio.
Everybody, and welcome back to the 100th episode of the DCR. I, of course, remain your host, the window of truth in a world of deception, Sean Lamont, and I am joined by the pro-Aguan activist and chairman of Atlantean Without Borders, Mr. Brian Gline. Hello, sir.
Hello, Sean. Should I also say Ignatius Ogilvy?
If we're going to dive that far back, why not?
Yeah.
That's where we started.
Mm-hmm.
Humble roots.
Yes.
Of course, this week is going to be a little odd. We're going to do a little bit of a cycling cast so that we can try to get everyone through here that is a member of the cast. So we are starting off with rage, anger, tempered vitriol, sunshine, and lollipops. The lovely Miss Beth. Hello.
Yay.
Yay, indeed. That's the energy and enthusiasm we always love to have with you on this show.
We need for the 100th episode.
It really is. You're kind of selling it here. We're going to send you back out into the field.
I can't believe you made it this far.
Why?
Or I let you do this
Well,
long.
there's that. Yeah, that's the part I'm surprised. But what we are going to do is cover
We're going to flash back to all of our greatest moments in the past 100 episodes.
Oh, it's a clip show?
Do you recall all of those wonderful times that I did my Michael Caine impression? Oh, the Michael Caine impression that everyone just loved so much. Let's think back, stroke our chins, and go listen to that wonderful thing. No?
No.
No, we're not going to do that?
No.
Oh.
No. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to smack that phone right out of your
Okay.
But what we are going to do is cover all of the books that were released by DC Comics in their new 52 line, talk about character beats, plot developments, etc., etc. So if you do not want your book spoiled, do not listen ahead to this episode. I had to get the episode in because, by God, that is a cornerstone of what we do here.
Does it have to be?
Well, yeah. I say it every week. Every week I say that.
Do you?
Every week.
I keep thinking he's going to say something about an EpiPen, and I'm just like, why are you doing that?
He has allergies.
So instead of making this a patting ourselves on the back flashback clip show episode or anything like that, to commemorate our 100th episode, I am just going to take a few of the more meta questions that I usually try to keep minimalized because the show isn't really about us, it's about the books themselves. And
No, it's about us.
It's about us?
It's always been about me.
Oh, well, I know it's always about you. Trust me, I know very, very much so.
We were supposed to bring back the couch.
No. We're not all stuffing onto a love seat again.
He's sharing the same microphone.
Yes, leaning in.
Eating mince like.
Doing 50s doo-wop style of do-do-do-do as we're all leaning into the mic at the same time. No, but we are going to answer a couple questions here. These are kind of a collection of some of the things that we get asked a lot. So first off, what was the first comic you remember reading? We'll start with you, Beth. I can't remember which one I made you read first. If it was
Preacher.
Was it Preacher?
Yes.
Yeah, I threw her into the deep end with that. Well, it was. I was trying to break the expectations of.
How much of Preacher did you get into?
I read the whole first
trade and maybe half the second.
No, I never got that far.
Okay. So yeah.
Does the musical gentleman show up in that one?
No.
Okay.
No, that's basically getting right to the end of the whole religious overtones of the first arc, I guess, if I'm trying to stay vague in case someone else wants to read it. So, yeah, but then you read Saga, and you read that in one sitting.
I did.
Yeah.
But that's because it was on an iPad, and it was a lot more fun.
Because she just kept hitting next, and she's like, man, just more pages keep coming.
What are these robots doing?
As long as I keep hitting this button, more pages show up.
But they flip through so nicely.
They did flip through quite nicely. So.
Buddha paper.
Yeah.
My dad would hate me, but Buddha paper.
So, Brian, what do you got?
Very first thing, on a vacation, as it was tradition with my mother when she was growing up, she would get like Archie and Harvey, like Baby Huey comics and stuff when like she'd gone on a long road trip with her family.
Yeah.
So she got me some of those like old like comic 3-packs you'd get at the supermarket.
Okay, I vaguely remember seeing those.
Yeah, and I still occasionally see them like at like dollar stores and stuff, and it just blows my mind because it seems like they're from the same era too, which is what really confuses me.
They're still trying to sell them.
Yep. Yeah, and so
Kool-Aid Man, the comic. This is gonna be awesome.
The Thirsties, man. So. You're amazed I remember the Thirsties. First thing I got was a DC 3-pack with a bunch of John Byrne Supermans in it.
Okay.
Like the big like relaunch era.
Is that why you're such a big Superman fan?
I liked him from the cartoons and Super Friends and stuff beforehand. This I'll get into this later, but yeah, I very, very strongly remember Superman fighting the Joker. That was on the cover of the first issue, and that just blew my mind because I didn't think that, Batman bad guys fighting Superman. What's going on? It was
this is lunacy.
Yes, it was
up is down, left is right.
Yep.
Dogs and cats living together.
My first introduction to the weird continuity that goes on in comics. It also had the issue where Superman first met the Legion of Superheroes.
Oh, there's one for you.
Yeah, exactly. That was, which also then got me very surly because the second part of it was in some random Superman comic that was not included in the 3-pack.
Okay.
That really bugged me. And just some random Rampage story.
Some random, like the video game Rampage?
No, Rampage, like the like yellow Hulk lady who showed up in
okay.
in a Future's End recently.
Gotcha.
And I also got an X-Men 3-pack. It was like X-Men Classics. And I remember telling my mom, "Oh, X-Men sound cool. I heard on TV that they were in Australia." So I was expecting to see like superheroes hanging out with like koala bears and junk. Man. And instead I got a Storm running around naked taking showers in the hallway of the X-Mansion and me just thinking, "Oh crap, I'm not going to
get in trouble.
I'm going to get in trouble. I'm not going to get to read comics anymore. I am never opening this comic up again."
What a weird segue, because
I know, right?
No, well, mine has a link to that as well, because obviously I had the EC comic, the horror ones that my dad owned that we ended up destroying in the basement is technically my first. Mm-hmm. But the first time I went and actually purchased a comic was my first attempt to get into comics in the 90s, and it was a literal single trip. Went, bought comic, read it, went, screw this, and walked away. And the comic that I picked up was an Age of Apocalypse X-Men book, where some Aboriginal guy was trying to open up a portal to
Gateway.
somewhere. Okay, whatever. All I remember was some Australian Aboriginal guy going, wooju, wooju,
And
wooju,
they had
wooju, wooju.
didgeridoos.
No, he didn't have,
it was one of
the wind ones.
Yeah, the sound disc on the end of a rope and you spin around.
It was just Wolverine talking to him while he went wooju, 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 wooju. But they were all saying things that I had no comprehension of whatsoever, because all I had seen was the X-Men cartoon, and they're all like, yeah, Cyclops is evil and he's doing it. And I'm like, what? No, I have no idea what's happening.
Wait. 90s?
Yeah, this would have been like early 90s.
I know, I thought Age of Apocalypse.
Mid-90s?
Late 90s.
Mid-90s.
I was going to say you graduated high school already by that time?
Nah, I think it was right as I was graduating.
And you didn't understand what they were talking about.
No, maybe it was afterwards. No, because it was mid-story, and they were basically just going on and on and on, and I had no idea what was happening in the story, so I just walked away. And my place that I could buy comic books was a drugstore that had, like, that issue and maybe, like, something from 1984 X-Men maybe was sitting there. I mean,
guess how old I was in 1984.
You were
born.
20. So yeah, that's what I said. Weird little segue of Australian X-Men.
Yes.
There. Next up comes in from, Asim. Let's just say Asim B, because I don't want to mess up his name here. And you know what? I'm going to take a shot at it. Bianatoli, I'm going to say Bianatoli. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry if I butcher that. Favorite current title currently being produced, and I'm just gonna say any publisher because he did not specify. And obviously, since Beth isn't reading them, what do you got, Brian?
You know what? There's so many good things that are like either just starting up, and I don't know if I can really endorse them for the long run, and so many things that I like that are ending.
Okay.
Didn't really know what to say. Then I realized, Ani Press, as I've mentioned at the end a few times very quickly, and then you yell at me, is currently producing a bunch of Bad Machinery trades.
Okay.
It's a webcomic done by John Allison. I read it every single day. He's ended the Bad Machinery aspect of it, and he's picked up with some of his other characters. They all exist in the same universe. But it's just really fun, quirky British stuff, and the Bad Machinery stories are kind of like a modern-day, almost satiric take on like your Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys kind of stories.
Okay.
It's like the self-contained, 100-something page mystery stories involving teens in a slightly spooky, supernatural British town.
Cool. That could be pretty fun.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Mine was a 3-way tie. I know it's cheating. I just couldn't. It would have been.
I also like Swamp Thing.
No,
Squirrel Girl was really funny.
Hey, Mr. First comic you ever read 3 packs times 2.
Yeah, well.
It would have been Superior Foes of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Would have been, but obviously that is not really an option right now. So I'm going to say, right now it is also from Oni Press, Sixth Gun.
Okay, yeah, you mentioned that a lot.
Yeah, this is one of my high up ones. Manhattan Projects coming out of Image right now. Absolutely adore the crap out of that book just for its insane take on science history. It's very odd. I just can't put into words how odd it is. Laika the Cosmo Dog is my favorite character ever. So whatever. And honestly, I really mulled over it with the DC stuff. I do have to say Swamp Thing though.
Yeah.
It's just been consistently strong for quite some time now. It's one of the few books. It was that one or Batman and Robin, and I just had to go with Swamp Thing just because it's always been on for me.
Yeah, from Snyder to Soul.
Yeah.
Really nice transition there.
So those are my 3. Sorry, it's a cheat thing. Last one actually comes in from Erica Turntz, and she has a small story to tell before we get to the question. She is not a fan of our show. She actually states so right at the beginning.
Go, girl.
Her boyfriend, though, is a fan of the show, but she is forced to listen to us every week on her trip to work because they share the same vehicle. And as such, she does admit to laughing at least a couple times to our stuff, and it has led to some awkward conversations in the car where he has had to explain some of the oddities of superheroes and some of the things, previous storylines that we maybe mentioned but didn't dive into, and it's led to some fun talks, at least in their car. But she wants to know, after giving her pity and feeling the solidarity with you and Kelly, Beth, this question is aimed at you guys. If you guys could turn the other cheek, if you could turn this whole thing around and say, you have your own podcast, what would it be about that you would force us to be on it? Sorry, I was trying to paraphrase because it was a long paragraph there.
What do you hate? Decorating with Pottery Barn.
Oh, that would be my favorite. Absolute favorite. Actually, if we just had an entire episode on glitter, I would just be overjoyed.
Do glitter.
What's that?
I don't do glitter.
You used to.
Well, yeah.
There used to be glitter on everything. It looked like every time I went into a meeting, it looked like I came from a strip club.
Or even hanging out with David Bowie or something.
That would be much easier to explain, honestly.
We can pull Britain into it.
Britain.
We can have entire episodes on Downton Abbey.
Yes, we could.
The Dowager Countess.
We can make it a little racy and do Orange is the New Black.
I wouldn't mind that, actually. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple eps of that. It's not too bad.
Human sexuality and all that fun stuff podcast.
Yeah, I wouldn't have any problem with that. The Downton Abbey is a little dry for me. Little dry, so I'd have a little issue with that.
But someone forged the results of a gardening contest, Sean.
The
scandal. Ooh.
But we will ask Kelly as well in the second half once we get to that as well. So without any further ado, let us skip past the question and answer section and jump into this week's books.
Boom.
All right, leading the charge, Brian.
I've got Justice League 38, The Amazovirus, Chapter 3, The Secret, or Cots All, folks.
Oi.
So,
what do you remember about the Amazovirus?
I don't know, but it sounds like there's a virus in the colon, and that doesn't sound good at all.
No. This virus is amazing.
It makes you fabulous. Also, die. So
It also liquefies your internal organs, but you feel amazing beforehand.
a supervillain named Neutron broke into Lex Luthor's building. He had a secret science lab that had this horrible virus in that he'd built to stop supervillains. That's what it's for. Cough, cough. And he accidentally released it, and there's a huge outbreak going on. And the CDC, I believe is what they'd be called, right?
Yeah, sure.
They found out that the virus is airborne, and pretty much it's one of those classic, within 5 days the entire world will be dead.
Do they have like the computer model of the little red splotch slowly
Yep.
growing?
Oh yeah, they've got not splotch, but there's a bunch of like little pings all over. It's like, look, it's gonna suddenly show up in Sydney, Australia, and London. Like, I'm not quite sure if that's how things spread, but okay.
In a matter of minutes.
I
don't think the planes are that fast to even get over there.
Yeah. So and we ended last issue with Batman being exposed to it. His Has-Bat suit got a little crack in it, and so he's like, oh no, Batman's getting superpowers for the first time ever.
See, if he would have had his Arctic climbing suit, he would have been fine.
Mm-hmm. So, because he's Batman, of course, it's a very ironic virus. So Batman loses his eyesight and gets, like, sonar powers, and he can, like, screech at things.
Isn't that something like Aquaman would have?
Well, yeah, but it's a bat. Bats have sonar, too.
Yeah.
They're kind of known for it. Blind as a bat, but they have the little sonar things. Matter of fact, he is stricken blind, if I recall.
Yes, he is. Yes, he does become blind, yes.
So he
becomes
died
Daredevil.
in one, he's blind in another. Now he's Daredevil.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
Batman's
and
not having
played
a
by
good
Ben
year.
Affleck. So
Yes.
it all comes together now.
Exactly. It all comes around. So he uses his new bat superpowers to help them take out Patient Zero. Lex Luthor has also been accosted by the most bargain basement supervillain known to mankind named Bullet, who was going to shoot Lex Luthor for doing this or something. I don't know. And then Captain Cold shows up and turns him into a bullet-sicle, and
At least Captain Cold got to be cool again.
He did get to
Pun
be
not intended.
I see what you did. He saves Lex Luthor so he can take him to the cot room, which is where all of the rest of the Justice League, who don't have their own
As
books and
you've
have
very
been
vocally stated many times.
have been sleeping off their Amazovirus infections. And so Lex goes and he looks at all of our favorite Justice League heroes and then immediately turns to go and look at Neutron instead. Okay, Neutron, maybe I'll fix you, maybe I won't. And then they bring in Patient Zero. Batman and company come back in. Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. They bring in Patient Zero, and Lex looks at him so he can try to figure out an antidote from his blood. He's like, oh no, this won't work. But I guess we can use Superman's blood instead. And Superman's just like, what?
Why would you use my
and Lex
blood?
Luthor's just like, well, I exposed you to the Amazovirus 4 years ago and you didn't die. So you must have built up some antibodies, so I can just use yours instead. He's like, wait, what? He just starts like, he just grabs Lex Luthor by the neck like he's like Homer Simpson strangling Bart. And he's just like, and Wonder Woman's just like, no, we need him to save everyone else. He's the only one who can do it.
Did he have the exaggerated
Yep.
He says he was being choked.
In my head, he did. And,
I don't think there would be a cross match for Superman's blood and human blood.
Sure,
we'll give everyone superpowers and everyone can be
type
super.
Type K blood for Krypton.
Yeah.
Right.
And then suddenly the virus becomes sentient and starts controlling everyone infected like zombies?
So Despotellus returns?
I guess so.
Yes!
Yeah.
So when does it liquefy if people are
Like
zombies
3
now?
days, I think it was the
Yeah.
general guideline they gave. Like, you get superpowers for 3 days, and then after that, it liquefies all your internal organs, and they kind of fall out of all of your orifices.
All of them.
All of them at
Yep.
once. It's a high-pressure thing inside the body.
Yep. Yeah, Justice League 38. We're getting there.
Hey, everyone's off the cots.
Everyone is off the cots. They're now evil zombies, but hey.
They're off the cots.
They're off
That's
the
all you
cots.
asked
That
for.
is all I asked for.
You have to. This is like the whole the genie's curse thing.
Yeah, I
You
know.
have to
Yeah,
be very
monkey.
specific.
I got monkey pod. Yeah.
All you asked for was for them to be off the cots. Well, you got it, mister.
Yeah.
Really enjoy the artwork though in these latest issues. They've been doing a really great job of the background detail.
Yeah.
It just feels really lived in as far as the city being in wreckage and everyone walking around through it. And I don't know. It's just been something that stood out to me. So, next up, I'm turning my ship into the wind. I'm turning into the headwind.
Okay.
Because I'm going to make a counter statement to probably what most people have been saying that are being vocal about this. Because I'm covering Wonder Woman number 38, and I'm going to say right now, I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was good. Hey, you don't even know anything about it. Shut up, you. People have been very less than warm reception to this book ever since the last run ended and the new team took over. So it had a bit of a rocky start. You did the first one of this one. And
yes, I did.
You were less than thrilled with it. It had a few things that maybe could have been done better for you. By the time we've gotten to this issue, this third one, it feels like they've found the voice, they found the visual style that they want to do, and it matches a lot better. So let's jump into it. We start off with a nightmare, Wonder Woman's nightmare, where some of the beasts of Ares, like those giant dragons and demon birds and whatever it is that flies around Ares' house, come and basically trash Themyscira. Just raze the entire island to the ground, start killing all the people there. And as she wakes up in a cold sweat, except it's not sweat, it's blood. It's basically, do you remember the depiction of war back when it was the old guy and how his hands and feet were always soaked in blood?
Yeah.
Well, now she's taking on that physical property as well, and her hands and feet are soaked in blood, and she's like, appears this is one of the symptoms of war.
Huh.
Probably should have listened to that really quick, small writing thing at the end of the war commercial.
That's what's in the fine print, eh? Well then.
We do see that Strife is gleefully watching on from Mount Olympus,
Yay,
though.
Strife.
Like, ooh, yes, your whole life is going to be full of strife. I can't wait. It's going to be my favorite show ever. So what do you do if you just had a nightmare where you woke up covered in blood? And we just had a tag in. So Kelly, what would you do?
Wait, what?
What would you do if you had a nightmare and you woke up and your hands and feet were covered in blood?
Scream.
Well, no, the next day. What would you do the next day? Like you woke up now and you're like, okay, how am I going to solve this problem? What would you do?
I would probably be very concerned as to what did I do last night that I ended up,
Well, clearly you don't know how to solve these problems because the correct answer, call up your gal pal Hesia and go have some coffee.
Hey, Hesia.
Hey, Hesia, how's it been?
You showed up in the main title.
I don't drink coffee, so I would not be doing that.
Beth would have been closer with her pancake suggestion. But we haven't seen her ever since the whole, threatening to kill Superman and revealing that she was the one that leaked the information that Superman and Wonder Woman were dating to the public. Ha ha ha, we're still on good terms, right? Well, there is still kind of a little bit of contention, but they're having some real talk. And basically, Hesia is telling her that, you know why everyone on Amazon and all the Amazons are ticked off at you? You literally came in and flipped their culture upside down. They're a warrior culture. They're very much regimented. Tradition is everything, and you have walked in, peed all over their traditions, and then laughed after you lit it on fire and skipped off.
You forced a broadcasting schedule on them. There's going to be drones taking their place soon. They're not very happy.
No, it's horrible. But she's going, but I gave them democracy. I took away the whole monarchy thing. I gave them a Congress. I also let them free. I brought all the guys back in. Why would anyone be upset with these changes? They're all good things. I know what's best here. I've been out in the world. I've seen what works. And Hesia, again, just goes, well, they're taking that freedom and rejecting your ideas. They're free to reject your ideas, and that's what they're doing. So it's actually a very cool conversation. And then they kind of split off into this little side talk of, hey, have you had any war symptoms lately? And she's like, oh, cramping and blood on my hands and feet. But other than that, no.
Wait, cramping and blood on the hands and feet?
I was being a little facetious maybe with the first one. So.
Experience a war lasting more than 6 hours.
Did Red Tornado come for a visit?
No, Red Tornado did not swing by. Wow, we're really diverging off the path here.
Welcome back, Beth.
Our strange episode. She just straight up lies and says, no, I haven't had any symptoms whatsoever, but I will gladly accept the outcomes of my decisions and accept full responsibility for what I decided to do. Now, Wonder Woman goes off on a mission with the Justice League then. They're still trying to track down what's happening to these villages because water, Brian. Water. It keeps
How's it work?
Well, it's washing away these villages.
Water and magnets. Completely baffling.
But in this case, the village that most recently disappeared was right next to a volcano, and Cyborg picked up a whole bunch of like weird transmissions coming from it. So they're like, "Hey, Superman, here's some spelunking gear. You go ahead and go on down there and find what's there."
So he needs like bungees and like a pickaxe.
He's got
he's Superman.
He's got one of the little like headbands with the headlamp on it.
Okay,
and he's just walking around. And
I guess night vision is not one of his superpowers.
No,
so sure,
but he's got laser eyes. You would think that would
right.
give off some sort of light whatsoever, and it's hot lava everywhere. Everyone knows it gives off the red glow so you can see. Jeez, has anyone seen The Hobbit?
Don't touch the ground. hot lava.
But while Superman's in there doing that, there's this awkward conversation of Batman like, "So, you're God of War now, huh?" She's like, "Yeah, God of War, but I'm still just Wonder Woman." He's like, "So does that mean like you cause wars, or you just like wars or anything?" And she's like, "No, I'm just still me. I'm just the god of conflict and war." And he's like, "So in other words, you have no idea how this works." And she's like, "No, but it's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it." What could possibly go wrong?
With somebody who doesn't know that they're supposed to be starting wars?
I don't know. See, they haven't really gone into the whole what the Greek gods do in the DC universe, like whether they're just manifestations of these things. Cause Strife loves to cause strife. We know that much. She like totally gets off on it. But like the other war, you don't see like, what's her name? Athena coming down and being like, "Wisdom!" Or, Moon coming down and being like, "Let's go hunting because that's what I'm a goddess of."
Everyone starts hunting things when I show up.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Foxes
like,
just come out of the woodwork.
It is like this weird thing where they're more like just physical embodiments of these things and maybe not causing them, but they gain strength as those things kind of take off on the world itself. I don't know. I guess we'll get, because
that's not very scary then.
No, but they are pushing this whole thing that being the God of War is changing who Wonder Woman is at the same time and making her more aggressive and more just apt to go into combat whatsoever.
Did she trade in her lasso for something more useful?
No, she still has the lasso. Besides, very deadly. You could just like tie it across the street and people would just trip over it all the time and be like, "Ha ha ha ha."
Or you could pretend to do it.
You could also
win
pretend to do it.
$100,000.
But before we leave that scene, Superman gets attacked by a bunch of demon wasps inside the volcano as his little camera that's mounted on his forehead goes to static, just as all we see is this giant bug maw right in the camera, and he's like, "Ah!" So back on Themyscira, old crony McPenis hater.
It's pronounced McPenishader, Sean.
I'm sorry.
McPenishader.
Her actual name is Darano, but we've been calling her crony McPenis hater because
Why?
she's this old lady that grew up on Themyscira that was always populated by women, only by women. Guys were banished off the island all the time. No men are allowed on the island. And the first thing that Wonder Woman did when she was crowned queen of the Amazons was bring all of the boy siblings of all of these daughters that were banished off the island back to the island. Say, "You guys are Amazonians as well. You should be able to stay here." They were in the middle of a war and they needed reinforcements. You know, hey guys, why don't you come on back? "Sure, we just want you to visit." "Oh, there's a war that broke out. You mind helping out with that real quick?" So,
well, how else do they get larger in population if they don't have guys?
well, that's a tale to be told. See, what they used to do was go out and seduce fishermen and then get impregnated and kill them and throw them overboard afterwards. But Wonder Woman seems to think that's not like the best way to be a peaceful, awesome society. So it's kind of banished the whole, "Let's stop raping and killing all of the fishermen that come near our island, please. Please? I like cod as well. Let's not kill all the fishermen."
Maybe they needed to invest in those cups that have little lines on it if they're going to be raped.
Maybe. Never thought that would happen as a fisherman. I prepared for everything as a fisherman, not Amazons.
Grew this beard, got some cable knit sweaters.
I got this yellow overcoat, changed my name to Gordon.
Gar, buy some fish sticks.
But anyway, Crony McPenis hater is very upset that Wonder Woman is not there on the island. Remember, they were having their meeting of the Themysciran Senate to try to decide what was going to happen. And so basically she goes, "Look, Wonder Woman's made her choice. She's not even here. She's off fighting with the Justice League. I think it's quite clear we need to elect a new leader, and so I present the new Queen of Amazon, Donna Troy, who's standing there looking all warrior lady, but still has not said a word, has not shown any emotion, has not done anything. So I don't know which way they're going to take it, if she's like an empty vessel right now, or if she is I don't want to say slave, but easily suggested to by Darano, or if she's just going to forge her own path afterwards. I don't know. We've got nothing as far as what they're going to do with her so far. But as a follow-up to the whole Azarello Chang, this is literally the aftermath of everything that whole epic storyline ended with. It may not be as high stakes. It may not be as, oh my god, all the gods are causing all this chaos everywhere and we need to fight and pull our brothers and sisters together. No, it's more the politics side of the things, and it's more the Wonder Woman kind of taking on falling into the very, very Greek thing of hubris, where she thinks that, okay, well, I'm like Atlas. I can carry the world on my shoulders. I chose to be God of War. I can do that. I'm Queen of the Amazons. Yeah, I can do that as well. Oh, I'm on the Justice League as well. Sure, I can handle all three of these things at once, and surely none of the three will have any suffering in their performance by me doing all of them at the same time. So I don't know if we're just really diving into this whole Greek hubris thing where she's going to be kind of the end result of that. I don't know how gods work with hubris, because it was always the man himself that was believing himself better than gods is basically the whole definition of hubris. So I don't know how a god does that, if they think they're super godly or something. I don't know, but it's kind of the vibe I'm getting from the story, and the artwork by Finch is more mature, and I don't mean that in the way of she's not in the showers all the time or anything like that. I mean the actual facial structure does not look like Wonder late teenage girl. She looks more like Wonder Woman now, like maybe mid-20s or so, and it's kind of found its voice and everything, so I'm turned on this book now. I think it's actually a good follow-up to the last epic. So take that, Brian.
Okay.
Take it to the bank and smoke on it. And,
come at me, bro.
And yeah, and come at me,
That was
bro.
Brah.
Come at me, brah. So yes, that was my counterculture. I actually say check it out. The first issue was rough, not gonna lie. Second issue improved by a bit. This one, I think they finally found their direction, or they've gotten past all of the stereotypical almost caricatures of the characters, so they could do like quick reference introductions, and now they're starting to dig past that initial veneer, and it's actually reading a lot better. So next up, I am actually doing another book. I forgot about that. Green Lantern New Guardians number 38. Do you remember the Future's End title of this? With
where
Say
Kyle
Soren?
exploded?
Yeah, where there was that lady in the multiverse or the universe that was like, you know, this White Lantern being Space Jesus and solving all the world's problems and making people not want to fight or war with one another anymore may not be the best thing for the universe, and she went and attacked Kyle Rayner.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we start off with her. Just
Okay.
her as herself on her planet, and she's evacuating her family and friends onto spaceships because, well, the city she lives in is being attacked by one of those giant source wall titans that is literally eating all of the buildings in her city. And we kind of cut away from it real quick because we have to go to Zamarian. Tasmazarvazan.
Is it made of rice?
No.
No.
That'd be Zataran.
Where Kyle is meeting. It's the capital of the Star Sapphires, the Lurve Lanterns. So everything's very pink. And
Yay.
Kyle meets up with Carol there, where they are going to have, in giant quotation marks, the talk. It's time to actually...
What talk?
The talk of where they are in their relationship. Do they have a relationship? Are they dating? Or are they just kind of fooling around? Are they friends? Are they
waiting until she's sober to have that discussion?
Well, it's actually a very, very good plan to do so. Or, if you don't like that answer, then you get her really, really drunk and have the talk again. Right, Beth?
Yes.
Right. 10 years I've been keeping her drunk. 10 years. It's been difficult. Very costly. So it basically comes down to this. Here's the conversation. Carol Ferris goes, so, I'm a Lurve Lantern. I love being a Lurve Lantern. I quite enjoy all the excitement. But to be a Lurve Lantern, I have to be in Lurve. In that case, I don't quite know if I'm actually in Lurve with you, or if I'm forcing myself to be in Lurve with you so that I can be a Lurve lantern still. Just thought I'd mention that. Tee-hee-hee. And Kyle...
Is this more of an Ashton Kutcher, Natalie Portman situation, or more of a Justin Timberlake, Mila Kunis situation? I'm not quite sure.
But then Kyle responds with I know that it's kind of up in the air. We don't know if it's like she's not willingly making that choice, but she doesn't know if it's like a subconscious thing or whatever.
But if a Green Lantern falls in Lurve, then does he become a Lurve Lantern too?
No, unless you're Jon Stewart and then you put your Lurve in your pocket.
I don't want to know about his Lurve in the pocket.
It makes sense to some people. But Kyle goes, okay, that's completely fair. Obviously, I may have a couple things, a little bit of baggage on my own since I physically turned you into my dead ex-girlfriend when I had godlike powers. Oopsie, sorry about that again. Maybe I have a couple hang-ups as well, and being a White Lantern with all these godly powers, can't promise you I won't do it again subconsciously. Can't make that promise. But I'll really try hard not to turn you into my dead ex-girlfriend. Also, I was the only not 2 foot tall blue person around, so I assume that was why you had to Lurve me if you wanted to do this anyway. So, their whole conversation is cut short though when the giant space titan source wall monster that was attacking that city crashes into the planet, and they run up to it to see that the White Lantern symbol, the weird little like V thing with the sun above it, is branded into its forehead, a giant symbol of it. They're like, well, that's weird. Well, let us follow it back to where it came from, because Kyle is obviously very good at trajectories and stuff. He even says so. I'm good at trajectories. So he traces it back to the planet where they show up, and they find Soren, the lady there from the Future's End issue, who just flips the freak out whenever she sees Kyle. She's like, it's you! No, get away from me, you're a horrible person. He's like, no, I'm a good guy. I'm the White Lantern. I'm awesome. Look, see the little symbol here? I'm a good guy. And she's like, no, you're not. You did that. And she points behind her, and where we see that someone has crucified a large chunk of the population to the side of a building into the shape of the White Lantern symbol.
Cool.
Not quite the symbol of life and hope that the White Lantern symbol is supposed to be. And,
was it upside down?
No, it wasn't. That would have made a lot more sense though. Would have made a lot more sense, but it isn't. And they're trying to figure out, and he's like, why would they think I did this? Well, oh no, I know why they think it was me. And that's when all this black goop starts flowing up all over the place and surrounds him, because Obsidian, the evil Kyle Rain, or not Obsidian, I'm sorry, Oblivion. Why did I have a Obsidian stuck in my head? Oblivion, the evil nega Kyle Rayner, shows up with a monocle and a goatee and all black costume, is like, mwahaha, I am evil Kyle Rayner, that you accidentally willed into existence with your godlike powers when you accidentally leaned up against the source wall there. So, haha, and I'm gonna kill you because you tried to kill me last time. And that's where we kind of leave off. Nice way to wrap up, I think, since we're heading into this whole end of this book.
Yeah.
With only 3 issues, so that way he
can... One last little loose end to tie up.
Is he gonna give the speech like, I brought you into this world and I can take you out?
I hope not. I sincerely hope not. Unless he installed a microchip in, Oblivion's head that he can detonate the brain at any given moment, like I did with Liam. So moving on.
All right, on that note, Supergirl 38. Supergirl started going to Space Hogwarts a few issues ago. It's called The Crucible. She's learning how to be like a superhero, galactic champion kind of thing for Earth. Space Hogwarts, as it turns out, not necessarily the most benevolent of places. They're very warlike in some of their practices.
And they want to make a lot of clones.
Yeah,
they love clones.
Yeah, the teacher that you think is the nice one wants to make an army of clones, and the teacher you think is the mean one doesn't think that's very good. Oh, something you weren't expecting.
My perceptions are turned upside down.
I know. Yeah, so they sent Supergirl and her study group off to go fight some Crucible rejects, some Space Hogwarts rejects. They got kicked out for, consorting with muggles or something.
Sure, not listening to orders, I think is what it was.
So they fight them, and somehow they start off on a planet, the, wolf guy from the Crucible, his brother's one of them, and there's, a bunch of,
Sabaro or whatever. Yeah,
Wait, the
Sabaro,
pizza
the
place?
pizza guy.
Yeah. He's very good at making calzones, and that's why everyone hates him so much.
Oh, get off of Sabaro.
So they wind up down on Earth because it was like all a ruse to try to find Superboy. Superboy, who's been living with monks or whatever, and then he sees, oh, there's a superhero convention here in right next to the Roman Colosseum. So I will go.
He's like, hey, it's me, a Superboy, hey,
Superboy, yes.
Ciao. Bzz. If I'm gonna steal from better comedians than I.
Yeah. So he shows up and he's just like, oh, hey, look, I can blend in with all these people wearing their cosplays. And then the big fight goes over to them. And they're just like, oh, we're going to take Superboy. No, you're not. And they like explode one of the bad kids' heads. And Supergirl's like, wait a minute. Should we be doing this as a benevolent school? And so all
the crowd running around like, Mamma Mia! Oh, no!
Oh my goodness! Well, some of them are like, "Oh, best convention ever," and others are like, "Oh no, the Pope is coming. What are we gonna do?"
Bene, molto bene.
Someone spills a bunch of tomato sauce all over someone's nice white costume. It's so disappointing.
Love you, Italy.
Yep. As it turns out, Maxima had been given like an extra assignment from the good teacher that actually might be bad, who wants to make all the clones, to use this whole fight to try to find where Superboy is, and they did, and she's going to take Superboy back so they can make a clone army off of him on the Crucible, and Supergirl says, no, you're not! I'm going to stand between you and Superboy, and that's where we're going to start off next issue.
Does he say, don't call me Superboy?
No, he does not.
Oh, man.
I know. Maybe at Convergence. Maybe
he'll be Metropolis Kid then.
I've seen that cover.
Don't call me Superboy. I still really like it. It was very light and fun, even though we had like people's heads exploding.
Yeah, it was a lighter issue than some of the previous
ones. And I guess a bunch of the people that were at RomaCon were actual professional cosplayers.
Really?
That was what they were designed after. So I guess a bunch of shout outs there to some of the people's favorite cosplayers. Who's doing the art on this?
Manuela Lupacchino.
Lupacchino, that's right. How could I forget that?
Yes.
I just don't understand why Supergirl would be picked to go to this school, because she's not from Earth.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's just the champions of various systems.
Right.
So she could be a champion of Krypton and or Earth in this case.
So basically, she's like the people in the Olympics that are a couple times removed, but they still go into a country because they think they got a chance.
Yeah. They're the no country, that group of like 4 people that are just all shit-faced at the parade, like, yeah, we're gonna win this thing. Free booze for us, yeah.
And it's maybe touching on that thing we had a question about a few episodes ago, where there's like, hey, if Supergirl's stronger than Superman, how come she's considered second tier? Well, maybe according to the Crucible, she's not. She's the most powerful person on Earth, so we'll use her.
Yeah, and that's why they picked her up. So, ta-da! See, kind of answers within answers there.
Yes.
Hey, mamma mia. So
what are we gonna do?
Next up, I have Earth 2 World's End number 16. We're kicking over the Tower of Pisa half-heartedly, as I said last week. Freed from Desaad's enslavement, Yolanda Montez, a.k.a. the Red Avatar of Earth 2, decides she's going to go help out the other avatars and joins the fight against the Furies. Next vignette, also freed from those pits at the same time, who actually did the freeing of the Red Avatar, Valzad, Power Girl, Lois Lane, a.k.a. Red Tornado Beth. You know this person.
I do.
They also get out and they go and bury Superman's body. Like, oh, we're so sad. Superman died again for the 3rd time. Let's really just bury his body this time.
Diminishing returns at this point.
But they feel bad. They hand over, Lois Lane gives over the little S crest that was on his uniform that got ripped off in the last battle there.
It looked like cellophane.
What's that? No, it did not look like cellophane. Although,
darn it,
many would probably prefer that because she holds it up in front of her and it fuses to her chest. Now she has the red S, no more boob window for Power Girl.
Oh, man.
So people probably would prefer the cellophane. Just like, okay, it's there, but, you know, it's also there.
Is that how the
I heard
artist
a million
took care of
fanboys
all those
scream out at
people?
once.
Wait, what was that, Beth?
Is that how they took care of the people complaining about her outfit?
Nah, I think it was just a matter of let's get her the more superish type thing, because it's basically her and Valzad are going to be the super family of Earth 2 for the next couple weeks while it's still around, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. There was nothing really linking her to the Superman family and her costume design whatsoever. So, anyway, next up, Batman, Thomas Wayne in this case, decides he's gonna down some more Miraclo, but they keep calling it Venom in this issue, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's supposed to be Venom, if it's supposed to be Miraclo. I don't know if that was a mistake or what, but whatever. But Lois Lane, aka Red Tornado, says, you know what, maybe you shouldn't take all those mind-altering drugs just now, and you could use my robot body to help search for your missing daughter. Let me finish the sentence before you jump in. Because as I was at use my robot body, your eyes lit up and you jumped for the microphone, and I was like, no. Back at World Army headquarters, Mr. Terrific, Sandman, Fury, and Mr. Miracle boom to back from Apocalypse and goes, sorries guys, we failed. We set off all the nukes. It didn't do anything. Darkseid seemed quite pleased with the redecoration we did on Apocalypse. I guess all we did was just destroy his trash piles. Oopsie. But Jimmy goes, not quite, because while you were there, Commander Khan was able to get information from Terry Sloan. So here's what we're going to do. Terry Sloan had built a giant spaceship that can hold like 100,000 people and has it floating off in orbit somewhere. So I propose we plan the greatest heist in the history of Earth 2. And so begins a new storyline that I would like to call Olsen's 11. Where he is going to get together a bunch of people, plan out a heist. The little Chinese acrobat's going to be in there somewhere.
Casey Affleck.
I am looking forward to that storyline if it's an actual heist thing, because he seemed very pleased with himself that it was going to be like, oh yeah, let's do a heist. Yeah, great. It's going to be great. I could go with Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
Leader of Olsen's 11.
Mm-hmm.
Just as long as we don't get to like Olsen's 18 at some point. So, Team Batman, Valzad and Power Girl and Lois Lane / Red Tornado join the fight with the Furies. They head on over there as well. They're able to beat them down, and Power Girl tries to help Huntress come back to her senses. Huntress, come back to me. I know you're under the control of Darkseid, but you can fight it. You can do it. And then she kind of goes, I can't escape his powers, and kind of just slumps over. So I don't know. She's dead. Could have just used like the pumpkin spice smelling salts to try to wake her up maybe next issue. I don't know. Some sort of pastry just smooshed into her mouth. Who knows? But Death, the last of the Furies, surrenders because I'm pregnant with Darkseid's baby. For the sake of the baby, don't punch me. And she just kind of backs off, and they're like, oh, we're not going to punch a pregnant lady, even if she is a Martian. That's kind of messed up. And as she steps back, she goes into instant labor as a giant hand rips through her belly with a sloppy, wet, loud sploosh. Yeah, so I guess she's giving birth to Darkseid's kid now, which I was surprised at. I thought that was going to be one of those lingering plot elements that they just went, you know, we can come back to this down the line if we ever want to. No, she's giving birth to it right now. I was hoping it was going to be like she would give birth to Darkseid's baby and Superwoman would give birth to Alexander Luthor's baby, and we would have like a baby brawl during the whole Convergence thing. Just these two superpowered infants like blah, 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 blah. Stick
him in the playpen and just let him work it out.
So that's how we end. A little bit more heart in this one. A little bit. So.
Really? That doesn't sound like heart.
Well, no, that was more viscera, I guess. But Brian, wrap up the half for us. We're
gonna go 5 years. Go 5 years into the future.
5 years in the future.
It's the New 52, Futures End, number 38. A really nice artwork by Andy McDonald.
Yeah, not bad at all.
A little quirkier than we're used to in this book. So.
Yep. But it worked for at least one of the little segments there.
Oh, definitely. So, Beth, you haven't been following along very recently.
No.
Say a bar were to shut down for a couple of hours. What would be the first thing you think would happen?
Like it shut down during prime time hours?
Sure, we'll even say that. They closed at 6 p.m. with a little sign that says, we'll be back soon. Closed for like maybe 4 hours.
I say a riot ensues.
Funny you should say that because the owner comes back maybe 4 hours after leaving it, and it is boarded up and condemned and abandoned.
Sweet. What happened to all the liquor?
We assume it was busted into and everything was robbed, and that's why they boarded it up, because it was a crime scene, I guess.
Maybe.
Well, at least the people who stole it were nice enough to repair the windows.
Yeah, that was very polite of them.
Yeah. The kinder, gentler, gentrified members of the riding populace.
I say, good sir, is that an abandoned liquor store?
Indubitably. So, we're at the Wounded Duck. A bunch of Batmans are fighting. We've got Batman Beyond from 35 years in the future.
35 years in the future.
We've got Batman of the current time, which is 5 years in the future.
5 years in the future.
We've got a 35-year in the future.
Don't say it.
Like Batman, Joker, Robot, OMAC hybrid.
Yeah, with a many faces style twisty head.
Yeah, it's got Batman Joker's heads kind of like a Janus head style stitched together on a robot body, and it spins around. It's very conflicted. And they're all fighting outside of former Red Robin Tim Drake's bar, who, as we all know, has been living under the name Dirk the Badger Oxenbrig.
No!
And so everyone's fighting this Joker Bats thing. They eventually decide to split up because he's come for Batman Beyond, so Batman Beyond's going to go lead him off somewhere else, and Plastique is going to take Batman and Dirk off to Terrific Tech to try to get the stuff they need from there.
Oh, man, I wonder what's going on in that storyline.
Oh, yeah.
With the whole Terrific Tech stuff.
Yeah, with Brother Eye has taken over without them knowing.
I wonder if he's going to release the U-Sphere soon.
I wonder. Elsewhere in New York, Dr. Polaris is fighting Stormguard and Shazamperman.
Shazampersan Man?
Yes, Shazampersan Man. So he's fighting the two guys that are on duty at the Justice League Watchtower, just saying how much he hates the Justice League, and also re-explaining Stormguard's origin one more time. Just in
Are
case
you a bad enough dude? Yes, you are a bad enough dude to save the president.
Just in case we didn't read the past 3 issues, we're letting us know one more time.
So he's a bad enough dude who saved the president?
He's literally a Marine that was on the top of the White House as they were trying to evacuate the president when they were attacked by parademons, these demonic monsters, and picked up the American flag and choked out the life of this entire battalion of demons so that the president could fly away on his helicopter.
Badass dude.
Yeah.
Saved the president.
He's a bad enough dude.
Yep. So, Firestorm, the new female Firestorm, shows up and stops the fight by calmly asking Dr. Polaris to stop.
Well, no, that's not how this works.
Yeah, she's like, hey, you're absolutely right. The Justice League should not have been keeping teleporter technology from the rest of the populace. Why don't you come up to the Watchtower? You can work on the teleporters. You can kind of split me and Jason Rush back apart, so I don't have to be Firestorm Lady anymore.
Wait.
And, we'll give you the technology in return, and you can do whatever you want, and,
And then they punch each other?
Yeah, no, they just calmly go off, and then Stormguard and Shazam just sort of like stand there with their like arms on their sides, like, wait a minute.
That's not how we do this.
Yeah.
I'm a bad dude. I punch people. Well, she obviously has not read the Justice League handbook yet.
No superhero training whatsoever.
Talking through problems and resolving the issues
in a logical, rational manner.
Unacceptable.
Mm-hmm. Most important part of the issue.
Most important.
Grifter family hijinks. As Grifter, Earth 2 Lana Lang, and 50 Sue are just out in the middle of a desert with the DNA vault, trying to figure out what exactly they're going to do with it. 50 Sue just wants to, it's like, oh, let's sell it for money or something. I don't know. And then I'll bring Deathstroke back to life and I'll kill him again. Let's do that. That sounds like fun. And Lana Lang's like, no, young lady, you will not be doing that. You will not be bringing anyone back to life and killing them again. No, bad. Go sit in the corner.
So what's going to happen to 50 Sue?
That's what we're trying to figure out. They've put together this weird family thing, kind of.
Yeah.
Where Lana Lang adopted her as her child and said, okay, you can't murder people anymore. You have to go to bed at a decent hour and you have to brush your teeth.
Wait, isn't Lana Lang the best darn electrical engineer?
Well, that on our Earth, the prime one, yes, but on Earth 2, we don't know.
So she might be mopey.
Yeah. She could be like the second best electrical engineer. We don't know because it's Earth 2.
Oh.
Yep. And so, Grifter tries to explain he's like, I know what I'm supposed to be doing here. I'm supposed to be acting like the dad, but I'm not going to.
I love how he's just like, no, just no.
Yeah. Like, all right, here's all the problems with your plan. If we sell this, it could wind up in the hands of even worse people. And how are we going to know that someone's not just going to threaten to kill your mom here? And then all of a sudden, just the fact that he put a finger gun to the head of Lana Lang in demonstration, 50 Sue decides to immediately teleport Grifter to the Antarctic surrounded by penguins.
Cool.
Yeah.
But
literally.
That's how we know she really cares, because if she hated Grifter, she would have sent him off to the polar bears in the North Pole.
Yes.
And we all know how Grifter gets along with
superheroes.
polar bears.
That's what ended the Grifter series, was polar bears.
Yep. Final vignette. We're in the Carpathian Mountains. Vigo has not shown up yet.
Oh.
He is Vigo. She's taken the dying Frankenstein to Castle Frankenstein to try to figure out how to bring him back to life. They get attacked by a steampunk ape and a bunch of other weird gobbledygook monsters.
A steampunk vampire ape, I'll have you know.
Yes, I know. It's Brian Azzarello's working on this. If it's not the one from Architecture and Morality, I don't know what's happening.
I don't know.
I hope he starts talking and he winds up being a Nazi. Very rare you'll find that. I hope this gorilla turns out to be a Nazi.
I really hope this vampire gorilla with steampunk accessories is a Nazi.
Yep.
I really do.
And then
another one of those phrases I didn't expect to hear when I woke up this morning.
Yep. And suddenly, then the steampunk ape gets called off by it's Dr. Frankenstein.
Oh.
It's like, oh, hello, welcome to my castle. I'm Dr. Frankenstein. I've got this cool steampunk chest piece here. It's keeping me alive. I'm younger than you, Frankenstein. Isn't that interesting? Welcome to my castle. Let's see if we can fix you up there, young boy.
That is it's a strangely not Carpathian accent you have there.
Yes, I am Frankenstein. This is how they talk there.
That must be the most un-Carpathian accent I think I've ever heard.
We're sacrificing a baby later. It's going to be very fun. I've got pink slime. It'll be very interesting.
So we're coming to a close with this weekly in general, almost all these weeklies.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we're at a good spot? Because some of the side stories are kind of coming to their natural close, it feels like.
And they're sort of like kind of shrugging their shoulders and saying, yeah, some of them didn't work out the way we thought of. Oh, well. But look, isn't this fun as well? So.
Didn't you enjoy us while we were here?
Yeah.
Cool. Hopefully we'll see you again later. Bye, everybody. But we're obviously marching headlong into the whole Brother Eye versus Brainiac conflict that's coming up here. If it is a conflict, I don't even know. Or if they're working together. I don't know. But that's obviously coming down the pike. And it should be interesting if they're going to have full dedication to that storyline with the upcoming issues instead of all these little side stories that are kind of wrapping up right now. I've enjoyed this one. I'm sorry. I liked, again, parts of it really speak to me, parts of it don't, but overall, I've had a lot of fun with Future's End.
Yeah,
so.
There's a lot of characters that I hope will find some way to continue on in one way, shape, or form.
That's really what it's been. It's like the halfway house for a lot of these characters, and I like some of them so much that I'm just happy they have somewhere to live on for at least a while. So what do you have coming up for round 2, Brian?
Got Batman, Superman, I've got Batwoman, and Teen Titans.
And I have Batman Eternal number 42, Batman and Robin. Oh yeah, absolutely love it. Red Hood and the Outlaws number 38, and I wrap up my half with Trinity of Sin number 4. So hold on a couple seconds. We're going to take a quick break. Beth, say hi and goodbye to everyone as you step out for this half.
Bye.
Bye. She loves you all. Bye. But we'll be back in a couple seconds after we grab a soda to go through those books.
And we're back!
No, I was going to stop you. I didn't have a chance.
Episode strong.
But we are joined in our weird little round table merry-go-round musical chairs episode by another member. Hello again, Kelly.
Hello.
Lovely, bubbly, effervescent Miss Kelly. How are you?
Good.
Are you ready for comic books?
Sure.
No, come on.
Don't pull this Beth act on us.
You do have a question, though, for you, because we had one in the first half that was aimed at you ladies, basically asking, since we're forcing you both to do a comic podcast that you have very little interest in whatsoever, if you were having your own podcast that you could force Brian and I onto, what would it be about?
Well, we could talk about how to properly sew your point shoes.
Ooh.
Or we can talk about vintage hand sewing techniques.
Well, tell you what, the hackles on my neck are standing up in excitement.
No, actually, it would normally be Disney, but Brian would enjoy that too much. So figured I would talk about something like obscure and boring. Ooh, coloring of the different colors of thread.
Wasn't there like 3? Black, white, and something else?
Or fabric fiber content. That would be, a rousing one.
I am elated that I started this one first then. Elated. Just to complete the circuit though, since not everyone is here, let's have a little word from Hollywood Scott.
Hollywood Scott!
Chill out.
That's right. Chill out, everyone. Chill out with the crazy. So yes, we have at least gotten everyone on the show now that is a member.
Yeah, you even got Liam.
Yeah, Liam's definitely making sure he's on this week's show.
Showing up during the Justice League, I'm sure.
The loud thuds would be the other two.
And the everything.
Well,
yeah, and the light bulb went out in the room, so we're sitting in the dark right now. It's so great. Everything's working out for our one. This is like we made it, guys, as the wheels are falling off the car, and it's just cruising right in, and yeah, it's not going well. So, second half, we're going to start off with a little Batman Eternal with our Batman Weekly stuff because it is the Bat half of the show. And we're going to bookend this little chapter with some Stephanie Brown stuff because we start off, it was not Catwoman that sent the hitman to get her, and the hitman, by the way, was Killshot. I don't even remember him from Batwoman.
Yeah, he was there for like 2 issues, kind of.
Yeah, the guy that like moved to Gotham City and put on like a hockey jersey or whatever was like, I'm gonna be a supervillain now because I can. Yeah, he showed up. It was actually Stephanie Brown's mom that hired him to bring her in because she wants to protect her and take her off to safety the next day. We're gonna skip town, and it's actually this very funny conversation where Stephanie's like, "You hired a man named Killshot to find and protect me." Killshot! And, yeah, so that's where they leave. We're leaving tomorrow, get some sleep, we're getting out of here, and they actually have a little bit of a reconciliation there. But the Bat family itself is also having problems because Harper Row, aka Bluebird, as she is calling herself now, in her new, punk get-up, Bat get-up, she's heading on out to save Red Robin, Red Hood, and Batgirl, who have been taken over by nanobots under the control of Mad Hatter. And she builds this little electromagnetic device that repels nanobots. Cause you do that, I guess, if you're gonna fight nanobots. But ends up getting captured by Mad Hatter anyway. Whoopsie. It's actually, it's a cute little scene where it's Mad Hatter like, haha, I will now make all of Gotham love me, but first I will turn you into one of my nanobot slaves. She's like, really? That's what your master plan is? That's kind of lame. I always thought you were like the coolest of Gotham's bad guys. He's like, really? You thought I was the coolest one? Are you sure it wasn't any of the other ones? She's like, no, I'm a tech girl. I'm all about the tech, and that hat thing's pretty awesome tech. So yeah, I always thought you were the coolest. He's like, that's awesome. And he starts sidling up to her, and then she punches him in the chest, and then does the whole Will Smith, you know what the difference between you and me is? I make this look good. She puts on the hat and takes control of all the nanobots, using it to destroy the little radio tower they were building, and releases all of the people. Yay! Way to go, Harper Row / Will Smith / whatever. So just at that moment, Batman shows up to arrest Mad Hatter and starts punching him in the face, going, "Who put you up to this? Who put you up to this? Tell me where she is," as I say every time. And, it's just another one of those invitation cards that says, we invite you to the destruction of Gotham City and the teardown of Batman because Commissioner Gordon's going to be locked up in X amount of days. And they're like, damn it, back to square one yet again. So later on, Harper is trying to explain away the whole I didn't choose this life speech from last issue because she's having a one-to-one conversation on a rooftop with Red Robin where he's apologizing that she had to get mixed up with this. She's like, yeah, I know I said I didn't choose this life, but what I meant was that I didn't choose it because it's the only thing that I really want to do. I mean, it wasn't really a decision for me. There was no choice in the matter. I saw you guys doing this. I thought it was badass. I wanted to do it. So yeah, there was no choice, but I'm doing this because there's nothing more in this world that I want to
Still sounds like a choice.
Still does a little bit, but whatever. And we end with our Stephanie Brown stuff where she comes back into the room after taking a nap to find her mom tied up and Catwoman standing there saying, "Man, you are a very difficult girl to find. I even went to Krav Maga class at the library and they said you weren't there. They said you weren't there. I could have swore that's where you would have been." But that's it. That's where we end. And that one's really starting to funnel into the whole wrapping up all of its side storylines and going straight into the who is the mastermind behind all this thing, which I'm looking forward to. I'm curious. I am actually curious to see because they have options. They have many, many options. And we'll see which one they take. So next up, Brian, what do you got?
Got Batman Superman number 18.
As, to quote M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong, what a twist in this one.
Okay. That's exactly what he sounds like, too. That's an uncanny impersonation.
From Robot Chicken, that is exactly what he sounds like.
Oh, okay. I was not aware of that. Superman has been tracking down his own personal Joker. There's a Superman villain out there who's just randomly killing people who are associated with the Superman S. And poor Superman even has to miss the funeral of the guy who used to dress up as Superman for kids at the hospital.
Yeah, the feels issue.
Yeah.
Feel bad for this guy. Feel bad. Rub your nose in it.
Yeah, his funeral has like 5 people attending it, and Superman was going to go there, and he's not there because he's busy looking for this evil supervillain.
That's like the worst part of it too. They have an entire issue to make you feel bad for this guy, and they show one panel of his funeral, and it's like his mom and 2 other guys and the priest, and it's like, yeah, sorry, buddy. Guess all that community outreach helped you out in the long run.
Yep. So he's going to use the fortresses the Fortress of Solitude's computer to find this person, but it's still repairing itself after the whole Doomed debacle.
Yes, where it was utterly destroyed.
Yeah, so Supergirl immediately shows up and just punches him right in the face, saying, "No! If you try to use this computer and it explodes, like it's probably going to, before it repairs itself, we are never going to be able to find my friends in the bottled city of Kandor that are stuck in the Phantom Zone." So
and
none
as
of
a
that.
quick reminder, the bottled city of Kandor is this really tiny city that was shrunk by Brainiac that has all of these other Kryptonians in it that are tiny versions of themselves.
Yes.
They at least give you the little catch up there.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So.
Not that has any thing to do with our future storyline.
No. So Batman decides to use Superman's quote-unquote girlfriend, Lois Lane, which I'm sure is very confusing if people don't realize that Superman and Lois Lane are just pals.
Yes.
Because it was so like, oh yes, you take me off to the moon and propose to me and stuff. I'm like, that's all-star Superman. That's not the current continuity. They're using Lois Lane as bait to get the guy out from hiding because if there's one person that's more important to Superman, it's gotta be Lois Lane. So they just put her off on a cliff somewhere. They stand out there and keep talking about how awesome Superman is, and I'm sure someone will shoot at you. Sure enough, a bullet comes flying out. Superman goes to save Lois, but the bullet was not for Lois Lane. It was for Batman.
No!
Because their bro love is greater than any lady love that could possibly exist. So Batman, of course, he's prepared. He's got the right armor on to prevent this deadly bullet that's killed every single other thing in the universe that's touched. And so Superman goes and he picks the bullet out of Batman's chest, and it's a tiny person.
Yeah.
A Kandorian.
What?
Yeah, it's one of the little shrunken Kandorians, one of the tiny Kryptonian people. That's why they were such smart bullets.
What, the people in the bottle?
Yeah. They are apparently not in the bottle
They have been
anymore.
weaponized.
And they fly out and they just fly through someone and keep going.
So they're like the bullets from the Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
A little bit. There is a part where it just zips around them and they almost make you think it's like an Omega beam or something.
Yeah, it was just like a red beam that was just flying around and stuff.
Like Superman goes to grab it and it goes right around his hand. It's like, how does that work?
Because it was a little dude.
And also, there was an old Superman story where he gains the power to shoot a tinier Superman out of his hand.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What possible use could that have?
I don't know, but it was a thing that happened. They do touch on it in All-Star Superman to a certain extent. Also with the Kandorians, oddly enough. So it's nice to see all this stuff kind of tying together.
Okay.
So there's tiny people, so that means they've got to go see Ray Palmer. As you do.
Who was he always so, I don't want to say rattled, but he just seems very unsure of himself, kind of a eclectic scientist. Everything I read, i.e. Identity Crisis on, he seemed very down to business. I'm doing my thing. I mean, obviously things changed for him at the end of that one but I mean, everything I've read with the guy has been very, very serious.
They've tried to make him slightly more interesting by giving him some character quirks. So.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so they go to Ray Palmer at SHADE, our favorite acronym-based shady government organization. Who they find a bottle in the middle of a radar-free area in the black sand desert of Iceland, and like, I guess that's probably where it is, and we get a shot of some very angry-looking Kandorians, and like, well, we're gonna have to go deal with this now, aren't we?
Were they really tiny Kandorians?
I don't know. They were like normal size, because it's just
like you whatsoever.
It's just, you know, they were there standing. It could be from our perspective they're normal size, but they're actually tiny.
Was there like the fat uncle and then like the goofy cousin, like the shorter, skinny cousin? And I don't know. I saw the littles. Isn't that what we're dealing with here?
Okay, that's what we're talking about. The borrowers. All right. Superman's a big Studio Ghibli fan. He's gonna go see Arrietty.
No, I did like that twist though, with the it being a Kandorian are the bullets that are going around killing people, and who has weaponized them or convinced them that Superman is the root of their problems and that they should be striking out at him, or if they were brainwashed, or what's going on there. It's an interesting little turn.
It is not what I would have expected.
Not at all. Not at all. What I did expect though was for Batman and Robin number 38 to be awesome.
Okay.
And I was fully delivered on that promise, because it was in fact awesome. We start off. Batman has had a long day, and he's trying to get some well-deserved rest. Gotta get some sleep. He just wants to sleep in once. Oh my goodness. After all that crap going to Apocalypse, and it's Damian standing on the head of his bed, like the little bedpost, like going, hey dad, can we go fight crime now? Dad, are you up? Are you up, Dad? Are you up? And he's like prying his eyelids open, like, wake up, Dad. Wake up, Dad.
This sounds like something that happens daily in our household.
Getting close to home.
Except the name isn't Damian.
And he finally wakes up, he's like, cave. Just cave now. And Damian and Titus go running off like, oh yeah, we're gonna go fight crime. It's gonna be so great. And they go downstairs and they get in the car, and Alfred's packed them lunch, and they go off to fight some crime where they're gonna stop this robbery. And it's classic Batman style, like he's getting the drop on him and punching him. 27 hit combo as he's like dodging all the stuff and punching people. And then one of the thugs runs off and picks up a machine gun. He's like, I'm going to kill you all. And that's when Damian just kind of jumps in front of him and is just standing there kind of like buffing his nails. And he's like, don't worry, Dad. I got this one. And just casually, nonchalantly even, just kind of doop, walks up to the guy as he's unloading clip after clip of bullets into Damian, and they're just bouncing off his chest. And he just smashes the guns. And he's like, well, that was fun. That was pretty cool. It kind of takes some of the thrill out of crime fighting, but it's still kind of badass. He's like, okay, I'm going to fly back to the cave. And Batman grabs him by the cape. He's like, no, car, now, you're coming with me. And Damian's just complaining the whole time. Man, that's not fair. Fair doesn't start until you're 21, son. I mean, it's such a bat dad and his kid thing where he's just like, man, this sucks. Well, too bad. You're going to have to suck it up. It's going to build character. Put hair on your chest. Or something.
Why would you want hair on your chest?
Well, he's a little boy.
I'm just saying.
Just hair on his chest.
But why would you want to?
They return home where Damian finally crashes for the night, and he has what can only be described as the most horrific nightmare a 10-year-old child could possibly have, where it is the, not zombie, but like just the corpses of his mom and grandfather taunting him and saying how much his family hates him and wanted him dead, and his mom talking about how she cried when she had him killed, but the tears are just blood from the bullet hole in her head running down her face. I mean, it is horrific, this nightmare he has.
Yeesh.
And he wakes up with a start, so much of a start that he flies up through the floorboards of Alfred's room. And it's just like his head sticking up through the floorboards. Alfred's not even phased. He's reading his book, drinking his tea. He's like, trouble sleeping, sir.
Oh my God, this book.
I know, it's so much fun. And Damian just shrugs off. He's like, I'm going out. I'm going to get some fresh air. And he goes out.
I have a question.
Sure.
When did he start flying?
That's
yeah.
right. You weren't here for that one. When they brought him back to life, they used the powers of Darkseid to do so, his Omega beams, and it granted him superpowers as well. So he is back to life with superpowers now. It seems like invulnerability, super strength, stuff like that in flight. Yeah. Yep.
Seems like you got it from Dr. Veritas, huh?
Yeah. Dr. Plot Device gave it to him, but it's working because we had finally gotten to that point in Batman and Robin before Damian died that there was some control there. Like, Damian looked up to his father and was trying to live his life by his teachings and be a good son and everything like that. And now that control is finally there, this X factor has been tossed in, and now he's just like, well, maybe I don't need to do all that stuff because I got superpowers now.
No child of mine is going to have superpowers.
Yeah, and of course Batman being so, no, you gotta trust in yourself. You don't want to just like stand there while people are shooting at you. That's just messed up, kid. You don't want to do that.
Because what if they wear off?
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes someone's going to have a bullet that can actually hit you, and do you want to get hit by it?
Someone's going to shoot tiny men at you.
Yeah. Trust me, I just came from a ridge. You didn't want to be there. It's really messy. Tiny little blood splatters all over the place.
God, I can't wait until Superman. I want Damian to team up with Batman and Superman and just completely ignore Batman the entire time now. Like, no, this is how you do it, Dad. Come on.
Just Batman standing there kicking dirt on the ground while they're flying around all over the place.
Do a barrel roll.
Press Z to do a barrel roll. But in this case, Damian flies off. He like carves his mom's name into the tombstone in the back with his own finger. Of course, we know she's not actually dead. She was half dipped into the Lazarus pit during that whole thing, and she's like a mindless zombie. Not really a zombie, just like a crazed, half alive person that doesn't remember who she was and is wandering around the Himalayas eating hikers now, I guess. I don't know. So in this case, he then flies off, and Batman's like, I should follow him. I should totally follow him. I can't let him just fly off like that. And Alfred's like, dude, some space. You gotta give him a little breathing room. He just came back to life. Let him get his bearings at least and figure out what's going on here. And he's like, fine, I'll do it. Whatever. And so what does Damian do? He flies back to the lab where he was genetically raised, I guess, where they sped up his growth and his mother birthed him, so to speak, in that
instead
birthing
of a giant
matrix.
whale.
Yeah, the giant birthing matrix thing, and where all the other clones were at the end of that whole storyline of himself, and all the clones are missing, and he destroys all the machinery in there, and he dives down into the ocean, down deeper, 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 until he comes to Atlantis, and he swims into the throne room and marches in, and he goes, "Hey, Aquaman!" And Aquaman's standing there like, "Oh my goodness! I am so happy to see you. Your father's tenacity is only outmatched by my joy to see what its outcome was. Wow, it's awesome to see you back." And he's like, yeah. Stop with the aqua talk. I heard you have my brothers down here. You were keeping them for safekeeping. He's like, yeah, I have them over here. He's like, okay, well, I'm taking them with me. I'm bringing them back up to the surface. It's all the weird, goopy, chunk clones of Damian with like the one distended eyes and stuff like that. He goes, okay, that's cool. I can help you out with that. He's like, yeah, but how am I going to get him from the bottom of the ocean up to the top? Oh, well, they're already in these little ball globe things. So here's a whole swarm of dolphins, a pod of dolphins. What do you call? Yeah, okay.
A pod of dolphins.
Here's a whole pod of dolphins. They'll balance them on their noses and swim up to the surface for you. So it's Damian flying up through the ocean with a pod of dolphins, swimming his
amazing
mutant brethren along with them until they come to this deserted island, and he opens up all of the little bubbles they were in. And they all stand up, chunk love Damian, chunk love Damian. And he's like, that's right, we're all family. I am you, you are me. We're basically the same person. We're all clones of each other.
Batman's got the weirdest family.
He really does. Imagine if he brought him up like, hey Dad, here's all my brothers. Your family
got enough
just
rooms,
grew.
right?
Yeah. Hey, you guys! Oh man. Chunk Damian's messing everything up. But in this case, he goes, you guys are free now. I don't know how to
explain this as a dog walker.
Yeah. He tells all of his weird mutant...
What is Carrie doing? Oh.
I don't know. We haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah.
I'm sure now that Damian's back, we'll probably start bringing her back.
Back from Europe. Nice to see you.
Yeah. But in this case, he releases all of his mutant brethren onto this deserted island and goes, this is your home now. You are free. I'll come check on you later, and flies off. So there is now an island of misfit Damians out there in the DCU. wow, is all I can say about
Nobody
this.
wants a Damian in a box.
The entire tone of this thing, from just nailing the fact of a hyperactive kid, just wanting to get out there and do something, no matter how exhausted you are, no matter what your plans for the day is, this kid is going to dictate what your day will be like. Perfect pitch, perfect tone, all the absurdity with these clones and everything. It's just such a mishmash of mundane household. We all know it that have our own kids or pestered our own parents in these manners, mixed with the most utterly bizarre shit out there. And it just works so well. I like it so much. I cannot speak highly enough of this book. And it seemed a lot of other people liked it as well, because I saw a lot of really high reviews for it, just because it was a perfect return for Damian, a return to form, all the you could ask for all over the place and everything. So yay, Damian! Woo! So moving on, what do you got, Brian?
Moving on to Batwoman 38. Still trying to explain what the heck is going on. As it even says in the title, it's like we're kind of figuring it out, right? So Batwoman's a vampire now.
Of course.
Some cultists in Gotham City have brought the Camelot villain Morgan Le Fay, the sorceress. They brought her back to life by making her explode out of Clayface.
Okay.
As you do.
Yeah, sure.
The demon was with her. He saw that. He did not like it one bit, so he explodes the mansion that she was brought back to life in.
An easy solution.
It's like, I'm sure that worked. I'm sure that did everything. She even calls him out, and it's like, oh, can you just stop rhyming for 2 seconds? Just 2 seconds.
He's so grumpy about it too.
So they go fly off, and everything seems to be back to normal, because obviously just one explosion has stopped the eternal evil sorceress of Camelot.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. They're kind of vaguely treating the whole Batwoman, Madame Nocturna thing as, at least in public, is Maggie Slayer's like, oh, you dumped me, and suddenly you start hanging out with this floozy. You've got your own Anne Heche now, this fake lesbian that's, using you for press. Way to go there, X. So she doesn't quite realize that she's been hypnotized into being in this relationship yet. She's just like, what? No, I love her. That's how this works, right?
Sure, I'm a vampire now, but I don't notice that.
Yes.
I guess. Even though my teeth get really pointy on occasion when I get angry and my voice box changes to a weird font and style.
Ragman has been just sort of hanging out on the fringes of this. He's kind of been paying attention to the cult.
And he is a golem.
He is a golem. He's a rag golem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were trying to tell me he was some other golem guy.
Well, there was another golem character that I was thinking of.
Okay. Fair enough.
A monolith, but no one remembers him. He may have been creator owned and just vaguely DC. I'm not sure. So Ragman, he's trying to figure out what's going on with all his cultist stuff, and so he's got a Clayface in his bathtub. He's just like, man, Eloise is like, man, I'm really glad I'm single, because, man, it would be really hard to explain this crap.
It was actually kind of a cute scene where he's like, and people wonder why I'm single, because I have a giant clay monster in my bathtub.
Mm-hmm. Wish Dad had given me instructions to this crazy rag suit, but hey, whatever, I'm doing the best with I can. And then Clayface comes back to life. It's like, she's not dead yet, you morons! I'm acting like this is a prophecy, but I'm just stating plain common sense.
You guys have been at this for how many years? You should know this by now.
Mm-hmm. Batwoman meets up with her sister her sister Beth, who is now named Red Alice.
Confusing.
I never quite understood that, but whatever.
Well, I know it was Alice because she had the whole Alice in Wonderland complex where she would only speak in script from the stories.
Okay.
So she was just known as Alice.
Super
that was
annoying.
Yeah, that was that was her tick, her Gotham claim to fame, so to speak.
She never hung out with Mad Hatter.
Nope.
At any point ever. Okay.
Never.
No one ever said, there's someone else who already does this? No one ever said that? Once? Okay.
Didn't watch the news, didn't really kind of put one and one together. Mad Hatter, I wonder what he's referencing.
Oh, God, if you want to go public domain, I don't know, want to sing Big Rock Candy Mountain all the time? I don't know. Camptown Lady. You could have been the Camptown Lady.
There's the most deadly of
Elizabeth. So she's shown up on the scene, and off in an alley not even in an alley somewhere, of course, Morgan Le Fay didn't die.
Oh, really?
She didn't die. So she went to go, she needs to like make her body stronger, so she goes to find one of her ancestors or whatever to kill or take over or steal, drink her blood and steal her power or whatever. And she finds some like random, like super happy, nice babysitter lady. And it's like, oh, you're my distant relative. Kill.
Was that who that was? Because it looked like Black Alice.
There's a Black Alice too?
Yeah.
What?
Okay, sure, whatever.
The one that can steal people's
yeah, the one that can steal
powers.
magic powers.
Yeah, that's on Secret 6 right now.
Well, maybe.
I don't think it was. It had the same character designs, and we need more Alices. So.
Yes, sure, why not?
Sure.
Why are you guys hating Alice?
Because it's already been done. It is very confusing.
Actually, the character's kind of cool if you read the whole old Elegy one.
Okay.
But that one wasn't. She was pretty cool in that one.
All right.
It was just her little tick was she only spoke in script from the
Talk
stories.
about Jabberwocks and Snicker.
Yeah, exactly.
When she punched someone to go Snicker snack.
Sure. Why not? So next on the stack, I have Red Hood and the Outlaws, number 38, where Red Hood himself sneaks into Arkham Asylum. I'm assuming this is before it blew up, disguised as a doctor to meet Crux, the human-alien hybrid person that they met like around issue 12 of Red Hood and the Outlaws. Basically, they met him. He went, Starfire's an alien. I gotta kill her because aliens killed my family. And then they beat him up and stole a spaceship and locked him up in Arkham Asylum. And they've been flying around in his spaceship ever since.
Okay.
So, they didn't exactly have the best of terms. But now Red Hood is trying to find Starfire and figures since he's got all the alien tracking stuff, could probably use his help. So he sneaks in, disguises himself as a doctor, tries to do the whole thing. Crux sees right through it, the whole disguise. They fight, and Crux flies away after knocking out Red Hood with him. And basically Red Hood comes back to consciousness inside the spaceship with Crux in his normal human form. He's not like the weird reptile monster thing. And goes, hey, I got words for you, man. I got 2 words for you. Thanks a lot. That intervention was exactly what I needed. I was all ragey and like angry and stuff, but after you locked me up, I was able to transform myself back into my normal human self, and I was doing good in there. So thanks for your help. And he's like, our help of beating you up and stealing your car? Sure. Happy to oblige. But as they're basically having this whole conversation, it's him saying, maybe this whole splicing the DNA of Killer Croc and Clayface and a Man-Bat with my own DNA wasn't the best idea possible. It kind of drove me a little mad. Now I'm in control, and I want to help you guys out the way you helped me. And as we see Arsenal sneaking up behind him with a bow drawn, ready to kill him. And he just turns around and he's like, oh, hey, Arsenal, saw you coming from a mile away. We're all friends now. We're going to go save Starfire. Are you with me? And he's like, is no one surprised? I had 3rd-degree burns like an issue ago. Is no one surprised I'm here whatsoever? And they're like, nah, we knew you were going to show up. We expected you earlier. And he's just all dejected, sitting in the chair like, man, can't even make a dramatic return in my own book. And they go flying off to go find Starfire, this new team-up of 3. And Starfire herself, off in a jungle somewhere, has chained herself to a tree to try to detox from the drugs she's taking so she doesn't fly off to get more drugs. And as she's sitting there, completely bad shape, her sister Blackfire flies down and goes, oh, there you are. I'm here to put you out of your misery because you're hooked on the drugs again, and at least be happy it's your own flesh and blood coming to kill you. So remember how we met last time when we were besties and we were sad we were going to part. So forget all that. Now I'm going to kill you because I'm working with that Hellfire guy. What's his name?
Hellspawn?
Hellspawn. There you go. That's
also, I've gone to an online ministry. I'm going to become a deacon soon.
Yeah,
it's not going to be confusing at all.
Church of Universal Life has promoted me to deacon, and I'm going to go talk to Batman for a while as well over in Eternal.
See what happens.
A couple goofy things, some of the return to form in that, where it's, you know what I mean, where I've told you before, where it's those two just being idiots, Jason Todd and Arsenal. When we get that, I'm always happy, so we got a little bit more of that type of vibe in this one. Kind of hoping we get past the drug addiction stuff pretty quickly, what with Jason hooked on the venom and Starfire on the whatever her space dope is.
Space drugs,
Yeah, whatever space dope she's on. Okay, I get it. We're reversing the whole thing. It's not Arsenal being the drug addict. He's gone through the 12-step. He's all cool now. Now it's these two. Oh no, how's he gonna help? So, whatever. Moving on.
Man-Bat.
Yeah. The Man-Bat did get a mention.
Yeah.
Do I have another one? I do.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, man.
Trinity of Sin, number 4. How did I forget? fighting off against the space demon bird Nimra. They've decided the only thing they can do to save the Earth is to get the box of redemption, the redemption box, basically the opposite of Pandora's box.
Pandora is one way or another going to be looking for a box.
In this case,
the only thing she knows how to do, hot new character find of the new 52, this lady who just can't stop looking for boxes.
She's the worst. You have her over. Amazon delivers a package. She doesn't care who it's to. She just opens it right up. But they had been betrayed by the Question after Nimra's brainwashing of him. And just as they had found the redemption box, and basically Phantom Stranger and Pandora knock him out, drag him inside, and Phantom Stranger's like, why are we taking him? He's betrayed us. Well, we're going to need all three of us to open up this box. I'm not strong enough. I haven't leveled up my box opening enough, so we all got to work together in opening up this particular box. They do meet the guardian of the redemption box, who is this giant monster, and then Phantom Stranger goes, yo, dude, I see through your disguise. And he goes, you caught me. I'm an angel. I'm like one of the last of the angels, so go on through. And they march on through, and they make it to the box itself, and they're focusing their powers to open the box as Nimrod cracks through the defenses they had put up and sends his hordes of demon insects in after them, like wasps, giant wasp things. And it ends
I haven't seen any other demon wasps this week.
A lot of demon wasps this week. The three end up getting taken down, but they open up the box with the last of their strength with
their polo shirts and extra shirts tied around their collars.
No, not that type
slung over their shoulders.
But the box kind of folds reality and...
Oh no, I'm making this book a lot more interesting with my demon wasps. Biff and Buffy, the demon wasps. Polo, dear.
Are they the ones that robbed the bar in Future's End as well?
Yes.
And then kindly boarded up the windows afterwards. But the trio open up the box and
we don't want to be gauche, do we?
It folds reality around them, pulling them in, and where we are now, they're in this odd little barren wasteland, crucified. A lot of crucifixion with those demon wasps this week. And they are standing there, and it looks like they've gotten exactly what they wanted, which seems to be an appeal to the Council of Wizards to whatever their crime was. And
they're filing appeals?
I guess so.
Oh man, just what this book needed, bureaucracy.
Because it says well, I'm looking forward to that. That's what I wanted from this book, was the realization of who they are, like who these people are, what they quote unquote did wrong, whether it was in fact wrong or just the wizards overstepping their boundaries, the philosophical stances of their punishments, why they were put in their particular situation. That's what I was expecting to get out of this, and instead it was...
No, they're just telling you that they're important, and it's been 3 years, so they must be, right?
Well, the next issue is Ceremony of Innocence, so it looks like they're going to get an appeal case brought before the council, and hopefully...
I hope the Creeper comes in for some red-hot litigation action.
Ugh.
But I'm hoping what it is finally some answers here. We got 2 issues left of this to get the answers. They're not going to get another shot. Please, just give me the goddamn answers to these questions. Email me if you have to, please. Just someone give me the answers to the question. Because Phantom Stranger's gotten his whole arc due to the Future's End issue.
Inexplicable run that he had.
Not only, but we had the 5-year jump that kind of gave us the ending, so to speak. So he's had a full arc. Pandora had most of an arc through her run. And the Question has just been pimp slapped into a corner. And now he just kind of pops up and goes, I got a new spear, guys. I got a new spear. Oh, now I'm a bad guy. Now I'm a good. Now I'm a bad. Now I'm a good. Now I'm a bad. Now I'm a good. So I'm hoping. I'm sincerely hoping.
Yeah.
Please.
Come on, Convergence Question.
Please. So wrap up the show for me, Brian.
Teen Titans 6. Scott Hepburn still killing it on art.
You like it?
I like Hepburn's art a lot.
It's a lot of salty people this week with his art that have grown spoiled with what's his name, Roquefort.
Well, you know what? I've been telling people for the past 100 episodes, if they don't like it, they can sit on it.
Sit on what?
It.
The issue? That doesn't seem very useful. That seems like $4 wasted, or $3 in this case.
And scene. Okay, so the new Power Girl from the World's Finest series that no one read.
We read it.
Well, yes, but she joined the team, and she gives her very helpful backstory for everyone who wasn't reading World's Finest, which I'm sure was many people.
More people read that than they read Demon Knights.
Shush.
More people read that than read Dial H.
Shush. So, I do love the fact that the ridiculously German guy gets a shout out.
Yes.
Like they show when she's getting her powers, you just see him in the back going, "Mein Gott!"
Is that scene? Does everyone understand I'm German? Okay.
Power Girl, she's like, "Hey, you know what? You guys are kind of terrible at being superheroes, right? You're very reactive. You need to be more proactive. We're the new generation of superheroes. Maybe we should do it a little bit differently than the people before us because, teenagers.
Maybe we shouldn't put our loved ones on ledges and wait for people to shoot at them so we can solve mysteries. Maybe we should just go find who's doing bad things to begin with."
Yeah. And so everyone's just like, Red Robin, who's of course naturally, is like, "Hey, excuse me, I trained with Batman. I think I know what I'm doing. No one that's close to me is going to get killed doing things the way that he does it."
So guys, I'm also thinking of opening a bar. What do you think? Does
that sound good?
I got this awesome lease. As long as I don't leave the property for more than 2 hours, I get an awesome rent.
Also working on this nickname, the Badger. I'm not really feeling the Red Robin thing anymore. Wonder Girl decides, hey, you know what? I kind of agree with her. So we're going to go fly off and hang out with my mom for a while. Because if one thing teenagers love to do, it's hang out with their mom.
Well, to be fair, she is visiting her in town.
Very true. Very true. So they go off to her Wonder Girl's apartment, when suddenly Manchester Black figures out how to meet up with them, and Wonder Girl's mom is very disconcerted, as I am, as to why the dude doesn't wear a shirt. Like, honey, who are these friends of yours? He's wearing a leather jacket and no shirt.
It's smelling a little ripe in here.
It's getting a little ripe in here, honey.
Well, I know why she would hang out with her mom, because, when you're a teenager and you hang out with your mom, sometimes you get bought things.
Very true.
That is true.
Very true.
But I do love the fact that Manchester Black's reaction to that is, "You're welcome."
Yes.
That's why I don't wear a shirt.
Yes. He quickly reiterates, "I am 19, so I can show up in this book and maybe join your team under false pretenses over the next couple issues."
Sure.
Just so you know that. One of those child prodigies. There's a few other, random things that happen in this issue that I'm just going to throw out there before we get to the big one. When they finish up the battle with the drug teens, the drug Fantastic Four, early in the issue, some of Raven's followers, that were in that band, they make a sample of the dark incantation that Raven is chanting to try to get rid of them. And so then they go and put it into one of their songs and start looping it over and over and over again, add in a cool drum machine, and accidentally summon this gigantic many-headed demon from the underworld.
It sounds
wicca.
Yep.
Sounds like something somebody would do.
Yeah, so the dubstep demon shows up, and the Raven band, they're just like, this is totally awesome! This is amazing! We're so dark and edgy! I thought it was hilarious.
I did too.
I thought it was great.
Target edgy as in the store Target, or Target edgy
I think you said dark and edgy.
Oh, okay,
Dark
I
and
thought
edgy,
you
yes.
said Target.
Target edgy is not very
Target
edgy.
edgy is what Arsenal's trying to do and failing at miserably. So, while Beast Boy is stuck in the Governor's Island Star Labs and trying to figure out what exactly is going on, he comes across a random janitor who just gets murdered. Gets straight up murdered.
Nice.
Then we cut back to Manchester Black saying, "Oh yeah, there's some people that are going to raid the island and steal a bunch of stuff, and I think maybe we should try to make sure that they don't set off the atomic bomb that's in there." And there's atomic bomb that's in there. And then as Beast Boy is taking the guy who got shot to go get some medical attention, sure enough, an atomic bomb goes off on Governor's Island. Gigantic mushroom cloud just off the coast of Manhattan.
No, it's very contained.
Yes.
It was a specialty atomic bomb that just keeps it very localized.
As Beast Boy hid behind some concrete wall.
And a refrigerator.
Everything is fine. But yeah, so big stuff happens.
A little bit.
Atomic bomb going off in New York.
I'm actually really enjoying this series.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of a mixed bag as far as what you're getting, because it has very lighthearted scenes, really lighthearted dialogue scenes at least, and then some betrayal type storylines going on, but as well as the whole cult of personality that seems to be following the Teen Titans. And I think it's working myself as far as a younger, energetic book. So I'm hoping people that were understandably maybe turned away by the previous edition volume of Teen Titans are maybe giving it a second go on this time around. Maybe, just maybe. But that wraps us up. That's all of our books for this show, for the 100th episode. So Reminder to you guys, Kelly, what should they go out there and do?
Buy the books.
That's right, because if you don't buy them, they don't make them. So if anything out there is to your liking or even piques your personality or interest, sorry, thrown off by Liam there, make sure you go out there and support it, because if you don't buy it, they won't make it, and it will not be there for you to read later. Right.
To reave it? You're going to reave it?
Reave it. You will not be able to reave it later. So next week, we do have a bundle of books. Bundle. We have New 52, Futures End number 39, Batman Eternal number 43, Aquaman number 38, Earth 2 World's End number 17, Deathstroke number 4 with Harley Quinn sneaking up behind him with a giant mallet. Surely just to crack an egg for him, I'm sure, or something. The Flash number 38, Secret Origins number 9, Swamp Thing on the cover. Star Spangled War Stories featuring G.I. Zombie number 6, Batman number 38 with the creepy creep Joker story that's going on in there. Arkham Manor number 4, speaking of creepy creep, Gotham by Midnight number 3, Catwoman number 38, Red Lanterns number 38, Sinestro number 9, Harley Quinn number 14, which, yeah, I'm trying to figure that one out myself. It's Harley Quinn drawing doodles on some guy's bare chest in bed. I don't know, saying I heart Harley Quinn. So,
okay.
Justice League Dark number 38, Infinity Man and the Forever People number 7, Gotham Academy number 4, and last but certainly not least, as Liam's pulling my ear, the Multiversity Guidebook.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if all those books weren't enough, we also have to cover a book covering the entirety of creation.
Yeah. Sure, why not?
So I don't know if we're going to split that one off into a separate mini-ep or what, or how we're going to handle all that, but we'll figure it out next week. For you guys, though, I did want to say sincerely, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Our first episode that we did that first week had 8 listeners in the first week. And I think 4 of those downloads are in this room right now. Now we're up to thousands, which is ridiculous to me. As far as the humbling nature of that many people listening to us ramble each and every week about our silly funny books.
Oh, and if you go back and listen to episode 7 or 1, as we like to call it, it's terrible.
Yeah.
We tried listening on the way here.
For 10 minutes on the way here. We're like, nope.
There is no excuse other than we sucked and we were still trying to figure out how to do it, and we didn't have any of the tech. We didn't have any idea what the hell we were doing.
And we were all crowded on a couch, so we all sound crazy when we're talking.
Yep. And we just mumbled over each other incessantly because we couldn't see when someone else was talking because we were all facing the same direction. Lovely time. So I did want to say thank you to all of you guys out there for all of the help and support. It is sincerely appreciated. I'm a horrible marketing person. I don't really do any marketing for the show except for like a post or 3 over the last 2 years. And yet, due to you guys going out there and talking about the show and word of mouth, we've grown to this state. And that's astounding. That's a testament to you guys. So thank you again. Also, thank you to Brian, Kelly, Beth, Scott, Liam, Ben, Devin, everyone who is put up with the 100 weeks of us doing this, 100 plus weeks, because it was a goofy idea on my part, and the fact that you guys are still showing up each week kind of surprises me, to be honest. So, I know we were all just goofing around having fun, but it is appreciated. If you do want to reach out and talk to us, though, you can do so at the following channels. The
internet?
Yeah. That's the best channel to use. Probably the only channel that'll really work for you. We're DCR Podcast everywhere, or you can email us at feedback@dcrpodcast.com. So to wrap up the show, Kelly, do you have anything before we take off?
Nope, not really.
Brian, how about you, buddy?
Boo Green Arrow.
Wow. Deep dive there. So from all of us here, have a wonderful week. Enjoy your books, enjoy your week, enjoy your lives, and we will talk to you